Hi, I'm Mrs. Hilton. Last week we focused on evaluating argumentative essays to determine if the reasoning behind the argument was sound and if the evidence given was relevant and sufficient enough to support the claim being made by the author. This week we'll apply those things that we learned to our own writing. This week we'll be learning how to write argumentative essays. We will use an introduction to state the claim, and then then we will offer evidence to support that claim. We will end our writing with a conclusion that restates our claim. You'll want a paper and a pencil before we begin. Today we'll be using argument structure in writing. We'll be learning to write claims and use supporting evidence. After this lesson, the student will be able to write arguments and use clear reasons and relevant evidence to support their claims. In today's lesson, we'll learn, first, what an argument is and what it isn't. Second, what the text structure of an argument looks and sounds like. Third, we'll practice identifying these types of evidence. And then fourth, we'll write a short paragraph using argument structure. Some vocabulary that we'll use today are the following terms. We'll talk about an argument, which is a claim supported by evidence whose purpose is to persuade. We'll talk about what a claim is, an author's statement showing their belief or opinion. It's also sometimes called a thesis statement. We'll talk about reasons, which are a statement that shows justification for the claim the author has made. Evidence is a statement showing factual support or data supporting the reasons given by the author. And a counter-argument, a claim or opinion based on the opposite argument. It can be used to show weakness of the opposition's position. So first, let's talk a little bit about what is an argument. Pause the video here and think of some ways you might define an argument. You might also think of some words that are synonyms or antonyms to the word argument. Your first thought might have been that an argument is a fight or a disagreement. While this is a correct definition, we also need to consider the context we are using the word argument in. In this case, we're talking about the use of an argument in an essay. This type of argument is a claim made by the author that is supported by evidence whose purpose is to persuade. So we can see that in an essay, an argument is a claim made by the author that is supported by evidence and whose purpose is to persuade. So when we write an argumentative essay, our intention is to get the reader to agree with what we're saying. There's a certain text structure that argument essays usually follow. First, a claim is usually made. We know a claim is the author's statement that shows their belief or opinion. After a claim is given, there's usually a reason that follows that. The reason is a justification for the claim that the author has made. And then the author gives evidence. The evidence should be facts or data that support the reasons and claim made by the author. Generally, the claim is included in the introduction of the essay. It might be the part where you restate the prompt or question you've been asked. For example, if the question was, does pineapple belong on pizza? You might agree and say, pineapple is the absolute best topping on pizza and should be the first thing you put on it. You could follow then with reasons why, such as it adds a sweet taste to your dinner, and then you could show evidence like the number of pizzas sold with pineapple each day. Or of course you could disagree by saying pineapple on pizza is a crime against nature because cheese is the first and most important topping that should go on pizza. Similar reasons and evidence could be cited to support your answer. Now that we know the structure of an argument, a claim is made, reasons are given to justify that claim, and then facts or data are used as evidence, let's look at a short essay and see if we can identify some of these elements. On this slide, we can see the title of this essay is called Are Libraries Obsolete? Do you think this title gives a clue as to what the author's claim will be? First, let's look at some of the words. Okay, so you probably all know what a library is, but the word obsolete might be something you don't know. Obsolete means something that is no longer used or out of date. For most people, having a home phone would be considered obsolete. What answer would you give to this question? Are libraries obsolete? Do you agree with that statement or disagree with that statement? Take a minute to think about that, and we'll go ahead and read through this essay and see how the author feels. As online learning becomes more common and more resources are converted or changed to digital form, some people have suggested that public libraries should be shut down, and in their place, everyone should be given a tablet with an e-reader subscription. Proponents or supporters of this idea state that it will save local cities and towns money because libraries are expensive to maintain. They also believe it will encourage more people to read because they won't have to travel to a library to get a book. They can simply click on what they want to read and read it from wherever they are. They could also access more materials because libraries won't have to buy physical copies of books. They can simply rent out as many digital copies as they need. However, it would be a serious mistake to replace libraries with tablets. First, digital books and resources are associated with less learning and more problems than print resources. A study done on tablet versus book reading found that people read 20 to 30% slower on tablets. They retain 20% less information and understand 10% less of what they read compared to people who read the same information in print. Additionally, staring too long at a screen has been shown to cause numerous health problems, including blurred vision, dizziness, dry eyes, headaches, and eye strain, at much higher instances than reading print does. People who use tablets and mobile devices excessively also have higher incidence of more serious health issues such as fibromyalgia, shoulder and neck pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, and muscle strain. I know that whenever I read from my e-reader for too long, my eyes begin to feel tired and my neck hurts. We should not add to these problems by giving people, especially young people, more reasons to look at screens. Second, it is incredibly narrow-minded to assume that the only services libraries offer is book lending. Libraries have a multitude of benefits, and many are only available if the library has a physical location. Some of these benefits include acting as a quiet study space, giving people a way to converse or talk with their neighbors, holding classes on a variety of topics, providing jobs, answering patron or customer questions, and keeping the community connected. One neighborhood found that after a local library instituted community events such as play times for toddlers and parents, jobs fairs for teenagers, and meeting spaces for senior citizens, over a third of residents reported feeling more connected to their community. Similarly, a Pew survey conducted in 2015 found that nearly 2/3 of American adults feel that closing their local library would have a major impact on their community. People see libraries as a way to connect with others and get their questions answered, benefits tablets can't offer nearly as well or as easily. While replacing libraries with tablets may seem like a simple solution, it would encourage people to spend even more time looking at digital screens, despite the myriad issues surrounding them. It would also end access to many of the benefits of libraries that people have come to rely on. In many areas, libraries are such an important part of the community network that they could never be replaced by a simple object. What claim do you think the author is making in this essay about libraries? Libraries should not be replaced by tablets. Let's look at some ways the author supports this claim. What evidence do you see? Look on this slide and see if you can find any claims the author makes and what evidence supports them. You can pause the video here. We can see that the author lists numerous facts and cites studies to support his case. Here we see where he says some of the benefits of libraries include acting as a quiet study space, giving people a way to converse with their neighbors, holding classes on a variety of topics, providing jobs, answering patron questions, and keeping the community connected. So here the author gives a list of different things that the library offers by having a physical location. We can see also that farther down in the paragraph, he quotes a study that says, similarly, a Pew survey conducted in 2015 found that nearly 2/3 of American adults feel that closing their local library would have a major impact on their community. By having specific data to rely on, the author's argument is stronger, and readers will be more inclined to agree with him. Remember that part of the purpose of an argumentative essay is writing to persuade. If we look in this section of the essay, we can try to find a counter argument. Can you find any here? Pause the video and see. We know that the author began his essay by saying, as online learning becomes more and more common and more resources are converted to digital form, some people have suggested that public libraries should be shut down, and in their place, everyone should be given an e-reader subscription. We can see in this section that there are several counter arguments to this statement. The first is given. It says, first, digital books and resources are associated with less learning and more problems than print resources. There are some statistics that follow that show that reading a print book is more effective for most people. Here we can see that the author makes sure to refute each of these points about digital resources being better. He gives a reason that shows why his opinion about libraries is stronger. We can see second here at the end of the paragraph, he states people who use tablets and mobile devices excessively also have a higher incidence of more serious health issues such as fibromyalgia, shoulder and back pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, and muscle strain. So we know that even though e-readers may give instant access to print resources, they are often harder to understand and less is retained. People read slower on devices. And second, we see he points out the health concerns associated with tablets. This is a good use of counter arguments. By dismantling or taking apart the other side's reasoning, in this case, the idea that e-readers should replace libraries, the author's view appears stronger. Do you think that this type of counter argument would work in all types of argumentative essays? Why or why not? In this essay, counter arguments have been an effective way to make a point. Reading a real book is beneficial to learning and has fewer health risks. Second, the author has also shown that libraries have more to offer than just books to read. Is there anything that the author could have done to improve this essay? What kind of things would you do differently? Think about the difference in relevant and irrelevant evidence here. You can pause the video and maybe list a few of the things you think the author could have done differently. Some things you might have suggested is that the author relied heavily on their own opinion. Argumentative essays should focus on facts and data. Here we see the author wrote, I know that whenever I read from my e-reader for too long, my eyes begin to feel tired and my neck hurts. Even though this personal reference is relevant to the essay, leaving it out would have allowed for the author to give more examples or specifics. He could have given specific data about how many people complain about their neck or eyes hurting after they read. Let's review the text structure of an argument again. We know that first, the author makes a claim, which is the statement that shows their belief or opinion. Second, the author lists a reason for their claim. It justifies the claim the author has made. And then they give evidence, facts or data that support the reason and claim that the author has made. Let's use this type of structure to write a paragraph answering the following question. Where is a great place to take a family vacation? Let's remember that in an essay, a good argument uses facts and evidence to support the claim instead of just using the author's thoughts and opinions. For example, if you wanted to write and say that Atlanta, Georgia is a great destination for families, you wouldn't just say it's a great place to visit because you went there on a family trip and loved it. For it to be a well-supported claim, you would need to have facts and data to justify your argument. For example, you could tell the number of family-friendly attractions or special deals you could get when you travel there with kids. You could even include surveys of people who had visited as a family and enjoyed it. So for our example here, let's write that Atlanta, Georgia is a great destination for families. Now we don't want to write a reason like that we went on a family trip and thought it was fun. We need to have our claim based, we don't want our claim to be based entirely on our own feelings. Let's look at some ways we can make this claim stronger. So our first sentence is going to be Atlanta, Georgia is a great family vacation destination. Okay, we know that this argument is a complaint. In order to make a strong claim, we need to support it with evidence, and that our purpose is to persuade. So our claim can be Atlanta, Georgia is a great family vacation destination. This claim is the same as in the original statement about our own family visiting this place, okay? But next, we want to write a reason that this statement could be true. We can think of this as justification for why Atlanta is a great place for families to visit. So here we can write, Atlanta boasts more than 20 family-friendly attractions, including the zoo's Out of Africa Safari and the Dysfunction Junction go-kart racetrack. With so many options to choose from, any family could find something they can all enjoy. Another way an author can support their claim is by using factual evidence or data. For example, the author could also say, many local restaurants have a kids eat free night, and the Chamber of Commerce has a family fun coupon book available at the beginning of each new season that lists discounts for local activities for kids 2 to 18. Both of these statements can be checked at another source. People could look this information up online or through the Chamber of Commerce. So it's not just the author saying it, it shows that it's factual evidence. Another way to support a claim is to use specific data like surveys or reviews from people who have the same opinion as the author. To support our author's claim about Atlanta, we could say, after their vacations, 82% of families who visit the area say they can't wait to return next spring. Now that we've added some supporting evidence, let's read back over our paragraph so far and see if our argument is very strong. So we begin with our claim, which is Atlanta, Georgia is a great family vacation destination. Okay, and then we're going to tell the reader a couple reasons why. Atlanta boasts more than 20 family-friendly attractions, including the zoo's Out of Africa Safari and the Dysfunction Junction go-kart racetrack. With many options to choose from, any family could find something they can all enjoy. Many local restaurants have a kids eat free night, and the Chamber of Commerce has a family fun coupon book available at the beginning of each new season that lists discounts for local activities for kids 2 to 18. After their vacations, 82% of families who visit the area say they can't wait to return next spring. So we've got a pretty strong argumentative paragraph there. Okay, we made our claim at the beginning and then supported it with several different types of evidence. Another thing we can do when we're writing an argumentative essay is to use a counter-argument. A counter-argument is a claim based on the opposite of the author's argument that is used to show the weakness of a different position. Okay? For example, in our paragraph about Atlanta, Georgia, we talked a little bit about places to visit. I'm sure everyone can think of another state that has a big park that might be more fun to visit. So we could say, although Orlando, Florida has big ticket amusement parks, the smaller crowds and milder weather make Atlanta, Georgia a better place for family fun. So this could be a counter argument because many people could say there's lots of other fun places to visit than Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, next we want to remember that our evidence needs to be relevant. Okay, we can't just throw something in. We could list lots of facts about Atlanta, Georgia, but they're not necessarily going to be facts that support our idea that it's a great place for families to visit. For evidence to be relevant, it must clearly connect to your claim. So relevant evidence is facts or information that is closely connected to an author's claim. So in our essay here, Atlanta, Georgia has 20 different family attractions within 20 minutes of the airport is relevant to our idea that families might want a vacation there. An example of irrelevant evidence or information that's given by the author that isn't strongly related to their claim would be this. Most neighborhoods in Atlanta, Georgia have public parks with playgrounds for children. Most of us have our own parks at home. We wouldn't want to travel to a different state just to go to a regular park. So that's not going to be a good supporting reason for people to want to go on vacation in Georgia. So let's look over our essay and see if we need to reorganize or eliminate any of our evidence. So here's the total paragraph that we wrote answering this question. Go ahead and pause the video here and see if it could be reorganized at all, if you think any of those sentences could be moved or even eliminated from this paragraph to give us a nice, strong argument. You might have changed some things like this. Atlanta, Georgia is a great family destination. I moved this sentence from farther down right up to underneath, right after this statement. With many options to choose from, any family can find something they can all enjoy. So now we'll list some of the options that there are. Atlanta boasts more than 20 family-friendly attractions, including the zoo's Out of Africa Safari and the Dysfunction Junction go-kart racetrack. Many local restaurants have a kids eat free night, and the Chamber of Commerce has a family fun coupon book available at the beginning of each new season that lists discounts for local activities for kids 2 to 18. Then I moved the counter argument from the end of the essay to this part here. Although Orlando, Florida has big ticket amusement parks, the smaller crowds and milder weather make Atlanta, Georgia a better place for family fun. After their vacations, 82% of families who visit the area say they can't wait to return next spring. By rearranging the different facts and evidence we have in our paragraph, we can make our argument sound even stronger. By keeping our counter argument away from the very end of the essay, it makes our argument stronger. So when we use argument structure in writing, there are a few things that we need to remember. First, we want to introduce our claim clearly. Often that will include restating the prompt or question that we've been asked. Second, we want to keep our reasons and evidence organized. Remember that argumentative essays should focus on facts and data. We don't want to lead with our feelings or opinions that are I statements. Next, we can consider using a counter argument to show the strengths in our own argument. This won't necessarily work in every essay, but sometimes it can be used to show different opinions. We want to finish with a concluding statement that repeats our claim and supports our argument. We want the last thing our reader reads to be something that's the same, that reminds them what our argument is. So as you go throughout this week, think about the different things that you read and different opinions that you're given, and see if you can see any of this type of structure in the different things that you read.